Before I get into the video, this was a 3-story 12 pitch, so I did have a harness system. This one happened to be Safeway's. I used a harness roof hook, which was the Ridge Pro, which is very expensive, but was well worth it because you modify this Sherlock Worcester, or Worcester Sherlock rather, a little bit, and you're able to get this thing all the way up 16 feet. Basically, you pop out the threaded paint roller thing, and you just drill out where the screws are holding it in to be a 1/4 inch, and you can slide it up and snap it on, and then you can roll this thing all the way up the roof, and that kind of acts as your first man up. And then for working up there, I had 4 pitch hoppers, which worked out absolutely perfectly. The amount was very clutch. I know 4 might seem like overkill, but overall, I told the customer we would either need to rent some equipment. We actually had some roofing companies that needed to rent some equipment. So other than that, or rather than that, I actually just split a little bit of this equipment with the homeowner and ended up with some stuff that I'll have for life. So you really want to make sure you're keeping things safe. This was $500 plus the pole, $45, $135 for the harness system, and another $500 for all the pitch hoppers. But I can say after using all of it that I wouldn't want to do it any other way. Safety first. Falling is the #1 killer in construction. 37% of deaths. And that is quite a high number considering all that we work with, around, all the variables, all the, different things that can kill you. So to me, this was worth every penny. I'm not a big heights guy, but I trusted my life with this stuff and it paid off. So, all right, let's get into the video. Installing a Skylight right about here. Nice 3.5 story 12 pitch. Let's do it. Of course it's a layover, because why wouldn't it be? But pretending it's not a layover, we take our favorite roofing bar and we just weave it down. My Skylight's around here, so I'm gonna go down pretty close to where my plank is and, go out a few feet and just weave it all the way down. That way we can weave it back when we're done. All right, we got it all weaved outside. I did make a mistake. Originally, I weaved it for this bay, so I'm pretty far that way outside. But I only measured these two, and they worked with the 20.5 because we were talking about doing this one, and then this one, and then that one. So we said yes to that one, and then upon further inspection, it's only an 18.5 bay right there, which doesn't work for the Skylight. So we'll go cut this one out and roof it. So that's obviously where the Skylight's gonna go. You can see where we weaved a little farther right, but that's all right. Let me get some of that extra layover off of there. And we're gonna cut this out. It's not ideal that my plank is here and we ended up so low. I should have done better with where I placed my plank, but I can lift this and sneak my ice and water under there. And I already talked to the homeowner. This roof is getting redone because you can see nail pops coming through the shingles as well as some rusty shingles. So there was actually a bunch of nails. The nailing patterns were wrong and they were right where the joints are. So I was seeing a lot of rusty heads and things around here that just told me that it was amateur hour. Before I cut it, I added these screws, and you can see by all the old proud nails that it drew this down a little bit. I ran out of my yellow screws and had to go to green, so hopefully no one notices that and gets upset. I got my peel and stick underlayment, and I added a cleat so that when the Skylight comes up, I just rest it on that. I have marks over there. I did dry fit it. It's absolutely flawless, so don't worry about the penetrations for the cleat. There's going to be so much flashing tape and flashing. And we'll get this thing installed and show you how to flash it. We got the Skylight installed. You can see all our squeeze out from our sealant. I like to use screws instead of nails. And I used a box because obviously, as you can tell, otherwise all I'd be doing up here is worried about my harness piece just breaking the glass, which no good. So on to the next step. First thing you do is take this piece off of the Skylight itself. It's taped on. I forgot to show you that, but that's the first thing you do is take that off. The first step is to roll this tape up underneath this rubber gasket as far as you can. Make sure you fold the tape onto itself to make it 10 times more annoying than it needed to be. Then you're going to take your razor, you're going to tuck into this corner and you're gonna cut at about a 45 on both sides. This is gonna drop. This is gonna fold back. I know it's different than a window. Usually you don't do the bottoms of windows, but you do with skylights. Okay, so that's that side, and we're gonna repeat over there. Now this is the sides, or this is a side. We're gonna do the same thing. This is gonna fold over, and that's gonna fold down. And we're gonna repeat at the top, like so. Fold over, fold down. And we're gonna go over there and do the same thing to that side. And if you've been paying attention, you saw this coming. We do the final piece across the top. So you get it shingled to somewhere about there. And then this is our first piece of flashing. We're actually gonna screw this on. Like I said, this roof's getting done over, so we're gonna be nice to the other guys or the future roofers and screw these pieces of step flashing and various flashings on. We have our first piece of flashing on each side. Now we'll run our shingles into there and continue step flashing all the way up while we shingle along. So as you go up, you're gonna be adding a piece of step flashing over every course of shingles. You're probably gonna give these 2 nails. I'm just giving them 1 screw because like I said, this roof's getting redone. So in anticipation of that, they should be able to take these right out and reuse the flashing and not do as much damage to it as they might if I would have put 2 nails in each piece of flashing. The last piece of flashing is probably gonna need a notch like that. Just take your snips, cut it. You don't need to get fancy and bend it or anything, but you're good there. Now that we have our step flashing in, that U piece, that was the first piece we took off of the skylight, is gonna snap into place, like so, on both sides. Tuck it up tight to the bottom and snap it in on both sides. Give it the double check, and you're good. Now for the final piece of top flashing, it will come with this extension piece. That's for thicker roofs, but we don't need that. We just have a regular shingle roof. So this is gonna come up and just snap in over everything, like such. And then what you're gonna do is take these tabs from that piece that we just snapped in. We're gonna pick those up. Okay. And then we're gonna fold that over. Make sure we're nice and snug. That gets folded over on both sides. I cut a U piece of peel and stick underlayment to go over our last piece of flashing. That's not really next guy friendly, but I don't know when he's coming. I wasn't comfortable leaving it with nothing, so now we can finish the weaving. Now normally on the inside you can just cut it out with a Sawzall, but because this is tilted out and imperfect, I actually sent some feeler bits out and then cut it with a skill saw from outside to make sure everything was perfect. As you can see, I've got a little overhang right here, which is flawless because that gives me a good reference point for where I need to fur out anywhere in here for my drywall to come in. Now this does say that it's a 21-inch rough opening, but I was able to get away with 20 and 5/16 and still have an 1/8 of an inch reveal right here after mud goes in. So just think about your finishes. You have a little bit of room for play compared to what they say. And I actually have a little bulge right here. That's why this is marked out. Give that a little shaving and everything's gonna finish out flawless. So nice, nice. And you're all done.